You've heard me talk about Squares golf shoes and how they help you hit the golf ball further. And many of you are saying, oh, come on, Faldo, give us a break. How is that possible? But yes, they do. And it's proven with science.
What we noticed with the Square shoes was the shoe keeps the pressure in a more stable fashion towards the inside of the trail heel, allowing pressure to get to the lead side, generating much more club and speed and distance gain.
Visit squares.com. Change your shoes, change your game. Squares, the distance golf shoe.
And we're alive.
Where am I at today?
That's right.
Boy, I'll get that right one day.
Yes, you will. Where is the wisest man in golf today?
I am on Mackinaw Island enjoying the heck out of this beautiful weather. Well, I haven't taken my jacket off yet, but enjoying a 67-degree weather day playing golf on the oldest golf course in Michigan.
It's celebrating its 125th year in golf. I think I was there around the 120th year of existence. It has a lot of history on it. You just finished golfing not long ago. You did play with hickory sticks. How did that go for you?
It went much better than the first time I played here with hickory sticks quite a few years ago. Very proud of myself. I'm ready to go. They have a hickory event here in August. That's all hickories, all original equipment. You can't use retro stuff. And I'm ready to come back.
That's right up our alley. You've been covering all the hickory, tournaments around Florida and everywhere else, traveling the country doing hickory. Well, right there is a beautiful place for lots of hickory people to gather and play.
Well, surprisingly, as we came off, the president of the Golf Association, I don't have him introduce himself, but we just kind of roped him in, sat down and said, we're going to have a chat.
All right. Well, let him introduce himself because I'm well versed in that fine gentleman over there, and he's a plethora of information. So introduce yourself, sir.
How are you, by the way?
I am doing very well now in life. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. How are you doing?
Well, I'm Pete Pellegrino, and I'm president of the Washington Golf Club here on Mackinaw Island. And it's good to see you again. I do remember you being here before.
Yes.
And what's interesting about this is nothing has changed about the golf course. It has been primarily the same holes, same tees, same greens for 125 years. When the original creators of the golf course came in, and one of them being Alex Smith, who was had just come from Scotland. He later won the 1906 and 1910 U.S. Open, by the way.
Yeah.
When he came here, it was basically what was left, the remnants of a farm in the middle of the island. And before that, the site of a major battle between the British and the Americans in the War of 1812. So there's a lot of history to the island, and I think when Alex came to look at the course and figure out how, in his Scottish mindset, to create something that was useful to an island that, again, it's finite space. We call it a links course.
Yes.
In distinct Scottish fashion. So therefore, sometimes you have a very long hole. Sometimes you have a few short holes. And you have some holes and some greens that you can't even see from the tee box, which is or that a par 3 that's 255 yards. So it's a unique experience, certainly for us as members of the club, for all these 125 years, but certainly for anybody who comes here and wants to experience this kind of old style Scottish links play. It's very cool, actually.
Well, you guys are known everywhere. I've been blessed to talk to many people that have the Hickory Foundation back behind them, and they're golfing, whether it be in Seattle and everything. And your course always comes up. They always want to make it to where it's at, how it's at. That's where the historical value is, where they really truly want to be. You know, whether you're from the East Coast, West Coast, anywhere around the country, your place, Mackinaw Island, Waskamo, 125 years of golf history is where everybody wants to be. Because we talk about all the time on the show about the historical value of golf and what we're doing. And, Greg has been traveling and talking to the makers of old bags and style, and it never lost. It's never lost anything. You see it and you instantly go back in time. And that's what I remember when I was there, the historical value. It almost took me back, like I was there. I felt part of it. The signage that you have, the landmarks that you have there. And I actually golfed the first time there with Hickories and did well. So I took that experience. Mr. Wise didn't golf well the first time he was there.
Exactly right.
So,
what's interesting is some of these holes look simple enough.
Yeah.
Because our course is very deceiving, because when you go down, for example, number 1, it's like 500 yards.
Yeah.
And it's pretty darn straight.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go off to the right a little bit, we have a lot of heather on our golf course.
Heather is not very nice either.
And not very nice.
No, it's not.
In the middle of the summer, heather can be 1.5 feet tall. And if
wow.
you can find the ball in heather, either take a penalty stroke or you hack away a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of our holes, and again, the topography of the course is such that it's hilly. It's modulated because it was actually a farm. So the original folks didn't bring in, land movers and, graders and leveling. It is what it is. And you try to figure out how best you can with the topography to get to the green.
What's the course record there? Do you know the course? You're the historian, so you got to know. What's the course record?
Well, the course record that we're aware of is depending in the old era.
Yes,
it would be before the metal shafts was actually pretty darn good. It was probably a 69.
Wow.
And in today's, it probably pretty much the same today, because the course was laid out for hickory sticks, and you have modern equipment, but you're still going to run into the same problems. And I don't think our course record had been any better than 66. So, I mean,
that's awesome.
It is. And one of the reasons why that happens, unless you play this course a lot, we've got a hole. Well, we've got 2 par 3s that are 255 yards. One of them is, it goes straight up and everything goes to the right. And if you hit it straight, and it hits the ground, it's gonna go to the right. The next one is just the opposite. It goes the opposite way. We have a hole that's called the circus ring.
I was going to mention that one.
Billy, you remember that one?
I remember. Yes, I remember the course very well.
7/8 of that green is surrounded by heather. And in the old days, it was completely surrounded by green.
Wow!
You had to be able to go over the top to get it
land it and stick it
onto the green. The next hole is about 160 yard par 3, and you're looking at a hill, and you can see the flag out there somewhere. So I said, well, that's okay. I get over the hill, and the slope of the green goes away from you.
Yep.
So
He's like, yeah.
Yeah, I found that one.
but again, that is part of the unique nature of Scottish links golf. It's not straight ahead and having some bunkers on one side and a little bit of heavy on the other. It's a challenging course. I mean,
Absolutely.
you're right, Bill. People come to look at this course and go, well.
They think they're just gonna, I'm gonna go beat it. Nope, you're gonna get beat up.
You're not going to beat it.
I have had several of my friends who come onto the island, and they're really good golfers.
Mm-hmm.
And they look at it and they go, the first tee, and they go, oh, what's the big deal? And after 9 holes, they're going, well, I think there's something here because it's a very unique course. And the other component is it's only 9 greens, but it's 18 tee boxes.
Yes.
Those tee, when you go from 10 to 18, it's a different view of the fairway, and it's definitely a different view of how to get to the green from there. Also.
And I think it was the first one to ever do something like that in stateside. You know what I mean? So while people have tried to replicate it, because we do know that there's courses out there that try to do that, you guys, 125 years later, it's there, and I know for a fact it's different angles and stuff like that. Yeah. I got 2 questions. Well, actually 3.
Hey,
First
Billy,
question. Yes.
Let's take a break real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to give up my chair to Chuck.
Okay.
The director of golf here.
Okay.
And he's going to sit in on the second session, and you guys can continue on. I'm going to go play again, by the way.
All right. Let's bring Chuck in. He's one of my favorite guys. Bring him in. We'll take a break. Break. And we're back. Joining us now is Chuck, too. This is my man. I miss you, Chuck. I miss your puppy, Chewy. It's been a while since I've been there, and we're continuing on. I was just about to ask a couple of questions, and both of you guys can answer because they might be different answers. The first question is there a signature hole? And then I want to know, what is your favorite hole? And why?
Well,
Chuck, you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you go first, Chuck.
I think signature hole on the golf course. There are some really cool ones. I think that the neatest hole on the golf course is number 5 and 14, the par 5. It has a very small, probably the smallest green I've ever played in my life. It has a false front. It has some trees in the back. I think it's really cool. That would be one that I really enjoy. The par 3, 13th is really cool because it has a little bit of an elevated tee, and there's a real neat Scottish little hill in the front. So that's really cool. And I'm saying a few, but then on number 3 we have our circus ring around the green on number 3.
Yeah.
A lot of people would look at that. I don't know that there's another golf course that I've ever played that has anything that looks like that. So
me neither.
Those would
I
be
travel
things
everywhere.
that would make Wawa unique. I guess 3 and 5 would be the ones that are very Wawa centric, I would say.
Yeah,
do you have one particular hole that beats you up every time?
I am a vicious drop kick hooker of the ball. So number 11 bothers me a lot. Okay. So it's a kind of a dog leg, not much of a place to hit your tee ball. So I hit it into this giant white pine tree a lot on the left. So that would be one that kind of bugs me, if you want to know.
And how about you? Do you have a favorite hole out there?
Well, I mean, I have to agree with Chuck about the circus ring.
Okay.
Because it requires you to be thoughtful about your second shot.
Mm-hmm.
If you are 100, 110 yards out, you best try to get it, unless you can, really hit it right in the middle of the green. You're best to try to go in the small open area in front of you. That's the only area where you can do a lag onto the green.
Okay.
Because otherwise on either side you're going to go hit into that grass, and if you can find it, you can have a shot without a penalty. I actually like 9 and 18 a lot because it's fairly straightforward. It goes up a hill, it goes down, then it goes up a hill, and then it goes off to the left towards the clubhouse. If you can get in 2 shots over the hill, into the valley, then you've got a really good shot of getting onto the green. And for me to be able to do that, and I haven't done it that much lately, it's a great opportunity, because you're at that point you're a little bit high and you're going down, and you can see the flight of the ball really well, except for one problem.
What's the problem?
There's a bunker right in front. And if you go into that bunker on 9 or 18, you're not going to be going forward. No. It is very deep. You either have to put it to the side. You remember that one I'm talking about, right? You either going to have to go to the side or go back towards the hill and then try again. So those are the ones that to me, they're signature course greens and fairways.
So my next question is, when I go back, because I'm coming back, all right? And I didn't want to come back this time because I don't know if you guys are aware, but they're celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. And
I heard that.
Wow. You heard that, right? And they're making their tour on all their original stops from 50 years ago. It's an incredible story. And why?
They're not old enough to be that.
I was just going to say.
Did they get married?
I agree. I agree, Chuck. But they wanted me to come up, and I was like, nah, I'm going to skip this one. You guys keep doing what you guys are doing. But I really miss going there. And I'm hoping when I get there that I want to actually, if humanly possible, I want to golf with the historian, the president.
Well, he would certainly be happy to do that.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you picked him instead of me, because then he's the guy that could tell you all the stuff.
Well, and what's interesting about it is, for those that actually go on that golf course, there is so much history out there and landmarks that you guys bring out. You show the story as well as the golf out there. And I left with a lot of questions. I got to golf the course once, and then we had to keep continuing on our trip. But there's so much wealth of information out there in history about the war and everything that's going on, that anybody that goes there, that likes nature, that likes history, they're going to get that. There's 125 years of pure history out there. Regardless, when you go up there in a taxi, which is actually a horse-driven cart, that was one of my favorite experiences. You know what I mean? Can you imagine that? You take a I don't know what you guys call it, but a boat. I call it a boat. I don't know what you guys from the island actually call it, a shuttle. So you take that water taxi over, you get off, and all of a sudden you're transformed into time. You see the beautiful hotels that look, old and historic, but yet they're well kept. It's beautiful. Horses are everywhere. And then you hop on a taxi and you go up to this beautiful golf course that you have no idea that it's going to beat you up. You went up smiling, and you're going to go down a little bit crying and happy at the same time. So as long as you promise to golf with me, sir, I'm there.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely welcome you back. And it is true. Mackinaw Island, interestingly enough, and a lot of people don't know this, Mackinaw Island was the second national park. I don't know if you knew. Wow. The first one was Yosemite. And a few years later, Mackinaw became the second national in 1875, the second national park, and stayed that way until 1895, when the state of Michigan took the property back and created Michigan's first state park. So we're Michigan's first state park. But the reason why all of this happens on this hallowed piece of ground is because of the major battle for possession of the upper Great Lakes. The battle is held here on the island, up here at the golf course. So yes, Billy, you're right. There's a whole lot of reference points to the history of Michigan, history of the United States, and the history of golf, certainly for us, because of this land. And that's why we cherish this land so much and cherish our golf course so much, because as you go along each and every one of these fairways, you get a glimpse of how farmers and soldiers walked the land, and certainly how much golfers do it today. So yes, we have a lot of history, but we have a lot of interesting and challenging golf here too.
Yes, you do. I know that for a fact. And for those, I'm pretty sure you guys still have that wonderful, amazing book on the history in the golf shop, correct?
We do.
So when the folks are there, if you're not lucky enough to have this gentleman over here, the historian and president, you have Chuck there. If they can't answer, get the book, buy a book, and you'll bring home a bit of history. Because that's one of my favorite pieces. I still have that book. Thank you very much, because I got that book when I went down a trip, and it has a lot of information on there that whether you're a golf buff, a history buff, or any kind of buff, you're really truly going to enjoy that. So for people that are trying to book a round of golf, can you explain how they can do that real quick?
Well, Bill, we have our regular telephone number in the summertime, which is 906-847-3871. You can always go to awashimo.com. We do not do tee times over the internet, so you actually do have to call us. We actually have paper sheets like they did 20 years ago. We do a lot of things that are that would make you think of the 1920s, not the 2020s, and we like it that way. So but all you have to do is give us a call, and we would love to. And if you want to send me an email on the washimogolf.com, we'd love to chat with you, and we get you tee time that way too.
There you have it, folks. We're also going to post up on this where you can contact the website, the phone number. We're going to have that all for you. Make sure you visit and get a piece of history. 125 years of golf. Every golfer that loves the game of golf has to visit this place. You will not be sorry. You can bring your family, leave them in town if they're not golfers. They have plenty of stuff from ice cream shops to fudge shops. You name it, they have the shop. And then you can go golf and be part of history. So I'm looking forward to seeing you two gentlemen and my puppy, Chewy, next time I get there. The wisest man in golf is there as well. Do you want to close us out, sir?
Hey, I am on the road again. We're leaving pretty soon, and you never know where you're going to find us next.
Where's the wisest couple in golf next? They're going to have to stay tuned. We'll have it next for you. We look forward to having you again live. You guys, I miss you guys. I will be back.
Thank you.
Look forward to it, Billy.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And that's the end of this segment.